Yes, I can perfectly.
Okay.
Thank you
Awesome.
so much. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Yeah, of course. So you're an intern,
Yes,
summer intern, or
summer intern here. Yes,
okay, where you go to school?
I go to Cedarville University. It's in Ohio. I play golf there, so it's a small school. But
Nice.
yeah, so it won't be too long. It'll probably 20, 15, hopefully 15 minutes. I'm just
Yeah,
gonna start introduce. I'm gonna do a little introduction, and then we'll just get going. So,
yeah. Quick question. Can you hear background noise? There's a washing machine going. If it's too loud, I can.
no, no, I think you're all good.
Okay, great. Sounds good.
Perfect. Okay. Hello, my name is Evan Martins, and I'm an intern here at National Sports Media Association. And today I'm interviewing Larry Williams, writer for TigerIllustrated.com. So, Mr. Williams, first to start, how did you get interested in sports media?
I was really interested in sports when I was a kid, and when I got to high school, I realized that my dreams of playing in the NBA and or the NFL probably weren't going to happen. And was terrible at math. I could string a sentence together, and so I sort of pivoted to okay, if I'm going to go to college and do well in college, then I'm probably going to need to go into something that I'm pretty good at. And so that's where it started. I worked on the high school student newspaper, and then I just continued that through college. Dabbled in some radio broadcasting, um, both sports broadcasting and also an actual radio DJ at the campus radio station in college. But then just eventually discovered that writing about sports was my wheelhouse, and so was lucky enough to get a job right out of school at the High Point Enterprise in North Carolina. Was there for less than a year, and then I went down to the Augusta Chronicle newspaper, where I started covering college football, and I've been covering college football predominantly ever since.
Wow. So, I obviously you said you've done it since high school through college and now till now. So, how have you seen sports media like change over time as it's gone from, less online to now more online, even the use of AI nowadays?
Boy, I mean, I could go much further back than just the current AI stuff. Um, you know, honestly, like the changes in media, I have direct experience in that because I was a newspaper guy for quite a while, for about a decade. Um, after leaving college, had newspaper in my blood. I thought I was going to do it forever, and then right around 2006, 7, 8, I was with the Charleston Post and Courier newspaper. Great job, great paper, hometown paper, a dream job that when I took the job, never really anticipated having the itch to leave. But even back then, there were some sort of ominous signs, of the newspaper business. My main thing was, all right, the advent of the internet, and I know I sound really old here, especially to a current college student, but I think it's probably interesting to people of all ages. The biggest sort of question I had that sort of chipped away at the faith that I had in newspapers long term was, all right, everybody's rushing to get their content on the internet, making it available for free. So where's the money going to come from? I just didn't really have a whole lot of faith in the plan there and the model there. And so uh, in 2008, I started having conversations with some of the team affiliated or team specific websites that cover Clemson, and ended up landing at the website that I still work for, Tiger Illustrated. And what really resonated with me, just from a model perspective and an industry perspective, is you look at the rivals now on three model that Tiger Illustrated works under, and it's very simple but very attractive. And the simplicity is you have thousands of subscribers in our case who spend $10 a month to read about their team, and that involves breaking news. It involves just the day-to-day coverage. And so, um, when I wake up every morning, my goal, what drives me is, all right, what can I do? What can I give my customers today that they can't get anywhere else? And that it's going to make them feel like, man, that's the best $10 a month that I spend. And I should say, in fairness, the job that I had at the Post and Courier, which was the Clemson
Hmm.
beat writer position, is still there, and I love that, right? So, kudos to the Post and Courier for continuing to invest in that, and I'm happy that they have. I mean, it would you never want to wish ill will on anybody, certainly, but I'm just sort of giving maybe a survey, a description of how I encountered the changing modes of information delivery, and sort of fast forwarding to the present. I think I have lots of questions and concerns about the AI,
Hmm.
the infiltration of that. Um, is it going to take away the generalist sort of positions at newspapers or media outlets or whatever it is? I mean, honestly, those those positions have been severely cut even pre-AI,
Hmm.
and so that's certainly a concern. But I think the advice that I give college interns who work with me regularly, who have questions about the future of the industry, and the questions I ask myself, because I hopefully still have many years to go doing this, my answer is usually pretty simple. It is, hey, regardless of what models look like, regardless of the presence of AI, if you can give people information they can't get anywhere else and tell them information first before anybody else,
Hmm.
and if you can be an authority on whatever you're covering, whether it's a college football team or whether it's politics or what have you, you can make a living doing this. And now that's very hard. I mean, it's much easier said than done because that is a function of relationships and trust and assets that you build over a long period of time. So it's very hard to start as that from scratch, right? As a recent college grad, but I do think that's that's something that's a strength and an asset that will hold up regardless of what the model is. That's my opinion.
Gotcha. Well, switching to the more Clemson topic, I was looking through some more winter bios, and I know I saw yours real quick, and I saw that you obviously have a close connection with Dabo, and I saw that you said when he comes to a press conference, he feels like he doesn't need to be there because you already know everything. So, how do you balance, having that close knit to a program while also staying objective as a journalist?
Yeah, and I want to clarify here. I think maybe when somebody reads that or hears that, the impression is perhaps like, oh, well, they're best buds, and
No.
Abba's like giving Larry a compliment. Well, maybe to a degree he is,
Hmm.
but sort of the inside version of that is Dabo, like most coaches, wants total control. He wants
Hmm.
to manage the flow of information, and
Hmm.
rightfully so,
Yeah.
justifiably so in his case. He has a job to do, and I could certainly see how preventing leaks helps him do his job better,
Yeah.
so not second guessing that at all, but um, there are times when my job, um, the job I'm trying to do conflicts with the job he's trying to do. And so my
Yeah.
job is getting information from within his program.
Yeah.
And so I mean, I've known the guy since he was an assistant coach at Clemson. And periodically over the years, he'll say, "How did you get that? Who told you that?" And the normal answer is, "Well, Deb, I can't tell you who told me, and one of the things that he'll say is just please tell me it's nobody, none of my staff told you that. It's like, no, Daba, I can't tell you who it is, but I can tell you that in this case, no, none of your staff told me that. And one of the things that I've always tried to remind him is, hey man, this is a small town, and people. people are going to talk about your football program. There's
Hmm.
going to be gossip. There's going to be um, if something happens, it's eventually going to get out, and it's not necessarily going to be from Dabo's right hand man.
Hmm.
It's going to maybe if there are 300 people in a football building, well, you could have just hypothetically a player tells his mother, and then his mother tells this other person, and then I'm not necessarily point B on that chain. I could be
Yeah.
point F.
Yeah.
But once point F hears it, then I go about trying to verify it and see if it's accurate. And so um, I think what Dabo is saying in press conferences when he occasionally when he says, well, y'all just read what Larry writes. I don't even know why y'all are asking me this. I think what he's saying is he's also speaking to people in his building and saying, y'all better not, none of y'all better be telling you know, Larry, anything, or else it's your job. I mean, that's what he says. And
Yeah.
so it's definitely an interesting relationship. Simply because we've known each other for a long time. I respect the heck out of him. I hope that he respects me. But again, sometimes um, my job and how I go about it that conflicts with his job and how he goes about his, and that's just a natural um, but respectful, I hope, and professional conflict that can happen.
Yeah. So are you originally from this area, that area?
Yes, I'm a native South Carolinian,
Okay.
and aside from let's see, 8 months in High Point back in the late '90s, and then 5 years in Augusta at the Augusta Chronicle, which is right across the river from South Carolina. I've lived in South Carolina, grew up in both Columbia and Charleston, spent most of my childhood in Columbia, and then moved to Charleston for most of my high school time. And then, so I spent a lot of time in both uh, communities. But I will say that the love that I had for college football really was sparked back when I was in probably second or third grade. My mother went back to college. She went to nursing school and she had three kids. I was the oldest. Um, and we lived in, this is the University of South Carolina, and we lived in the family housing community. And so it was about a mile or two from South Carolina's football stadium. And I didn't go to many games, but I could hear the games. And there was just something magical about like, whoa, like something like this is big. And so it just continued from there and went to college at South Carolina. I was actually a Gamecocks fan growing up as a kid. And, but kind of an unhealthy, I think once I started going to college and the if you have the right professors and the right bosses for internships and
Hmm.
stuff, you pretty quickly learn that, hey man, if you want to do this as a in a professional capacity, you got to sever whatever emotional ties do you have to what you're covering. Some people don't believe in that necessarily, and that's fine. Not nothing personal, but for me, and for for my upbringing and background, I believe that, in this business, they don't give you a license to do it. You don't have a certificate on the wall that says this allows me to do what I do. Your certificate and your license is your credibility. So personally, I don't believe in being emotionally attached to what you're covering. And so it didn't really take long for me of doing it, semi-professionally in college to realize yeah, I need to be much more down the middle. And I think that coinciding with the realization that, God, this is kind of unhealthy. It made it, I think those things connected and it just made it easier, much easier for me just to be like, yeah, I'm good with not with not being a fan, and that's true to this day. I just, I really enjoy sports, but
Yeah.
I more enjoy the clinical aspect of covering a game or covering a personality. In this case, Dabo Sweeney, covering a program. there is something new every day,
Mm.
and it just really gets my wheels turning to approach the more analytical sides of it. And for me, again, it's just me.
Yeah, of course.
I believe the only way to do that is by being objective and being professional
Mm.
and not really having emotional investment in what you cover. That said, there's no way I could sit here and tell you that I'm some robot and that it hasn't been immensely cool to be to have a window into the Dabo Sweeney story,
Yeah.
right? And national championships and all that. Those are unbelievable moments
Mm.
where you say, "Did I did I just cover that, last second touchdown that won the national title? And am I really around during like one of the most incredible stories, not just in Clemson history, but college football history?" Like, certainly there's some sentiment involved
Mm.
with that. But am I sitting there as Clemson lines up for a game-winning field goal going, "Oh, come on, this better go"? No, it's much more like trying to figure things out on the fly so that I can not make a fool of myself when I sit down to write my post-game column on the game, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally. Well, last question I have is just what advice would you have for someone like me?
I would just go back to what I said about really how you can make a living at this, a dependable, secure living, and that is developing relationships and just being a go-getter, paying attention to the big news breakers on whether you're following a particular beat or maybe if you're following like more national um, sports, things like that, or it doesn't even have to be sports. I would say don't be afraid to do the grunt work. Um, People, the interns that really have separated that I've worked with over the years at Clemson have just been extremely hard workers and extremely open and desirous of criticism, constructive criticism. They want to get better.
Mm.
And so, you know, I'm 51 years old, so maybe I'm a dinosaur. I try to keep current with everything, but in this day and age, it's hard to really keep current with all the different twists and turns of AI and what could happen there. But I really have a lot of faith that the same fundamental things that allowed success and achievement in this business 20, 30 years ago and now is going to hopefully continue in the future. And be versatile. You probably already know that. You've probably been
Mhm.
told that by plenty of people. Don't just be a writer, you know. Be adept at on-camera stuff, all manner of capacities.
Yeah, perfect. Well, I appreciate your time. I'd love to stay connected in the future.
Yeah.
Can I connect with you on LinkedIn or?
Oh, well, unfortunately, I'm not on LinkedIn,
Okay.
but definitely, I mean, keep my number.
Okay. Yeah, perfect. I'd love to.
You just have my email?
I do have your email, yeah, but I can get your number down real quick.
Yeah. 864
Okay.
650
864-650-0424.
0424.
All
What do
right,
you
perfect.
what's your background? What do you want to do?
So I want to do play-by-play. I've grown up just playing sports my entire life. I've played soccer growing up, and then during like middle school, high school, I started playing golf, took that really seriously, and obviously I play now in college. But really just passion for sports. I've always played sports, always loved sports. So love to do play-by-play, but in college I did some play-by-play for some Ohio high school state basketball championships around there. So that was fun. I also wrote for my school newspaper, like sports newspaper. So I'm trying to get my feet wet in writing and also broadcasting and but I like my dream definitely be a play-by-play, but open to whatever happens.
Man, just find the play-by-play guys that you love, that really
Hmm.
you think are really good, whether it's
Yeah.
locally, nationally. I mean, you might be surprised that I mean most people are pretty humble and even the greatest ones, when they were coming up, they probably had people they reached out to,
Mm.
people who really helped them get on their path and right. And so most people who have had the benefit of all that, they remember what that was like. And so
Hmm.
they're going to be probably more often than not willing to share their insights and develop a relationship. I mean,
Yeah.
relationships are good there too. So
Yeah.
definitely keep in touch. Are you going to be at the in Greensboro at the awards?
Yeah, yeah. I'll be
Okay.
here. I'll be here all summer. I'll be here for the award
Okay.
show and then so.
So you're there on site in Greensboro. That's cool.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
awesome. Well, I'll see you there because I'm planning on going. So
Perfect.
we'll
Excited to
have
meet
to
you.
up.
Well, I appreciate you taking your time.
All right, Evan. Reach out for
You
anything else you need.
perfect. Have a good one.
Yeah, you too. Bye bye.